woke up and I rolled out of bed. Got dressed and I left at 10. Check my nails, looking good. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Oh yeah! I know this'll be the day. Oh, yeah. Everything will be okay. Oh, yeah. I kiss my cares all away. Oh, yeah. It's gonna be a good, good day. It's gonna be a good, good day. Good, good day. Hey. I think it's finally all gonna go my way. Go my way. Rain or shine, no, I don't mind. This day is mine. I'm gonna chase all those gray clouds away. It's gonna be a good day. It's gonna be a good day. No more crying myself to sleep and thinking better days are a far off dream. Get up and I move my feet, cause I hear music playing on these streets. Oh yeah! Ain't nobody gonna cry today. Ain't nobody gonna die today. I kiss my cares all away. It's gonna be a good, good day. It's gonna be a good, good day. Good, good day. Gonna be a good, good day. I think it's finally all gonna go my way. Rain or shine, no, I don't mind. This day is mine. I'm gonna chase all those gray clouds away. It's gonna be a good day. It's beautiful. It's gonna be a good day. No more crying myself to sleep and thinking better days are a far off dream. Get up and I move my feet, cause I hear music playing. It's gonna be a good, good day. It's gonna be a good, good day. Good, good day. I think it's finally all gonna go my way. Rain or shine, no, I don't mind. This day is mine. I'm gonna chase all those gray clouds away. It's gonna be a good day. It's gonna be a good day. It's gonna be a good day. Woo! It's a great, great day. It's a good day. Get up! Can't you see the sun shining? I woke up and I rolled out of bed. Got dressed and I left at 10. Check my nails, looking good. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Oh yeah! I know this'll be the day. Everything will be okay. I kiss my cares all away. It's gonna be.
Good morning. How are you guys
Good
doing?
morning. It's Friday. Who's excited for the weekend?
It sure is. Friday the 19th.
Yes, the weekend before Thanksgiving.
Awesome.
Yes.
So we will have some notes on TNT on when we won't be having it, but definitely not on Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. So giving you guys some time for that.
Mm-hmm.
So Monday and Tuesday of next week
Yes.
is we will have TNT on those days.
Yep.
Sound good?
Yeah, sounds great.
Reasonable approach?
Hope you guys are gearing up for a wonderful Thanksgiving. I'm
Yeah.
excited.
Yeah, no, family time is
love it.
good.
Yes.
It's good to spend some time doing that type of stuff. All right. So the first topic for today that we're going to go over is we went down to the Real Producers Awards, and we had a bunch of agents that went. So we're going to show off some pictures of that and kind of discuss it real quickly. And
So much fun.
yeah, so that was good.
Yeah.
It was nice to get to spend community time, right?
Yes.
All right.
It was great.
And then topic number 2, Logan had requested to get some information on this
There you
the
go,
other day.
Logan.
So thank you, Logan. Capital gains taxes and when it applies to you when you sell a home, how much can you make, what's going on with it, and we'll share a couple of details around that.
Yeah, that'll be a good topic.
Yeah, it wasn't really an issue in the past, but now
No.
prices have dramatically went up, and all of a sudden
people
we're
are
kind of
moving
thinking
like
about it.
within a year.
Yeah.
Right?
So we'll talk about
less
the
than 2
timelines,
years, so.
and we'll talk about the amounts and what capital gains tax is versus your ordinary income.
Right. And then immediately following TNT, we're going to hop over on Show Me Your Listings and have our great discussions that we do on Fridays. So let's get started.
Nice. Hello there, this is Mike Acquisto, and that is luxury real estate broker Shana Acquisto. Super nice to get to spend some time with you today to discuss the Real Producers Awards that they had the other day. They call it the ESPYs. And so we happen to have the fortune to be nominated for a cover award for when we were featured in the past here. So there's the episode, and so that it was number one, an honor to just be on the cover, right?
Yes,
that was really
it was
pretty
an
good.
honor to be on the cover, and it was, even more of an honor to be nominated for the award.
Yeah,
so that was exciting.
So that went through a couple of iterations of voting, right?
Yeah. Yes.
And then we continued to advance, and we were having some pretty good success.
They had over 11,000 people, I think, vote across the board for all these awards. So it was very impressive. Like, I think it kind of broke their system. They had to increase their, I don't know what system they used for voting, but they had to increase it to the next level, which was crazy.
So you made a good night of it.
Yes, it was
Like
a great
a
night.
very,
Now
very
let's
good
start
night of
out. I just want to briefly kind of go through the series of events. This is something that I've been super excited about. I sent that email out asking, I always like all of us to go. And so, I reached out to Jordan, who's the producer of the magazine, and asked him if I could bring everyone. He goes, oh, whoa, we have a limited space, don't think that's going to work. But
it was way oversold.
I said, I want them to come. So anyway, everyone was able to. So a lot of you came, and it was great. And so I wanted to plan this really special night. So we had a makeup artist that was going to come and do our makeup for all the girls. And I reserved a limo. The limo was going to pick us up. It was going to be like we were going to prom. So the morning of the event, around 10 o'clock, the makeup artist called, and she just basically quit on us. I'm not coming. Sorry. Have a great event. Okay. So I have a few of the girls coming over. So that was a kind of an issue. But we pulled together and got a replacement. Actually, 2 replacements.
Whoa, backup makeup artist.
Serious teamwork right there, which further just shows how powerful we are together. So we got another makeup artist, 2 makeup artists come.
Did you tell them they
no
were
hitch
backup?
at all. Yeah, I told them what happened, but they're now not the backup.
Ooh.
So,
all right.
A lot to discuss on that. Then it comes time for the limo to show up at 4:15. No limo. Called the limo guy. He's like, we don't have you scheduled for a limo. I said, yes, I have a contract. I filled out the contract. He said, oh, it's actually for December. And then he came back and he said, well, actually, you reserved it for Friday. And I said, no, here it is. And he's like, okay, yeah, well, sorry, but we don't have anybody available.
And you paid for it yesterday in full, right?
Yeah, the day before
That's
he
awesome.
called and wanted the payment, and I had paid it. So anyway, that was a challenge. So 2 big challenges. But you know what? Didn't stop us. Mike, actually,
Katie did a great job.
But Katie, yes, everyone again, pulled together, teamwork. We got there, no problem.
Somehow got there.
It took us a long time because traffic was bad, but we had great navigators and drivers. I'm a bad navigator, I'm just saying.
Very subpar.
So we're going to talk about, a little bit about what happened that night. Don't want to, take up too much time, but it was super exciting. Everyone was all dressed up, looked beautiful. We had a great time. It came to the award, and, we did not win the cover, which was okay. In all my posts out there, it was not trying to ask for a vote. I just wanted people to be aware that there was a vote and for them to vote on the best one. So there you go. So there was another Another guy who was on the cover. It got down to 4, and he won, and we're super proud of him for doing that. So,
So with that, as soon as that was all completed, there was, I think, 10 awards.
look at us. We look like we're on the Emmys, right?
Well, there was 10 awards that they were
That's
giving
great.
out, and the cover award was actually the last one.
Yes.
So they continued to go through all these awards, and then they got to the last one and handed it out. And then he's like, so those are not all the awards. We have one more award.
Yeah.
They gave a couple of awards to the vendor sponsors,
Mm-hmm.
right? So they did that. And then they had one more, and they said, so here's one more award that we have. And the CEO of their company got on, and he brought him in via Zoom, and he talked about what the award was. So the award happened to be named after the CEO of their company, for the national company. And it basically, from what I remember, I was trying to pay attention as best I could, but like I wasn't really super tuned in because we just lost. So I was like, oh, whatever. So
Kind of like,
it was
but it was okay.
a touch of a letdown for whatever that
It doesn't
is,
matter
right?
what it is. If you're up for something you don't win, it's kind of like,
So then afterwards, they're going
That's
through
okay.
what this Remmy Award was, and it basically, as I remember it, happened to encapsulate what they thought was the best realtor partner that they had, that embodied all of the attributes that they were looking for, and this was like their standard for what the realtor was to represent them. And it was also very impressive to note that the only people that are present that are allowed to be as part of real producers is, I believe, you have to be in the top 1% of sales to be included with this. And so if you're in that number and you get the magazine, then that's what you are. And then the subset of this is who was ready to receive these awards, right? So that was how we got invited and whatever that is. So thank you and congratulations on being in
all
that.
of us.
Yeah,
It
being
takes
in the top.
all of us,
Yeah, no, it totally does.
for sure.
So anyways, we get to that point, and then they announce the award, and lo and behold, he happens to call my wife's name. So we had no idea. We were just kind of let down that we didn't receive
It was very like,
that award.
do I stand up?
Yeah.
What do I do? What do we do? I don't know. But it was really, I mean, it was great. And you guys know how sappy I am. So I was like, oh my gosh, I can't get up there and say something and cry in front of all these people. But I did.
Yeah.
I did. You know what? I will say, you know how they say picture the crowd naked? Well, I didn't. What really helped me was I had these fake eyelashes on, and I was very feeling strange about them because I don't wear them, and I thought they were going to come off. So I thought if I cry and they come off, that's even more embarrassing. So that's what stuck in my mind.
Okay.
But, yeah, being put on the spot and speaking is not really my thing.
Well, congratulations.
But yes, it was quite an honor. But you know, I think I reached out to all of you guys and told you, like, one person doesn't get this. It's now I'm gonna cry again. It's all of us. I mean, it is.
All right.
It
So
truly is.
that's awesome. And I think she probably would be able to say it better if, she was a little bit more composed, but
I
she's
had
saying
those
thank
eyelashes
you.
on.
She's saying thank you to all of
Yes.
you guys, right? For what you guys do on a daily basis and for all of that. And the award is not about her, but
So this
rather
is
a
for us.
reflection on everybody, and she'll carry that for us. So you can check it out, and it's yours to kind of understand, because we all received it together, right?
You know, this past year has been a little different and challenging in different ways, but we've all pulled together, and maybe we've lost a few along the way, but the ones that are here, they're the true squad. All of you. Even if you couldn't make this event, it's all of us. So thank you to each and every one of you. I love you all.
No, it was really impressive, and
Yes.
it was one of those things. So I kind of had a takeaway from it that I couldn't believe, right? So in short, she receives this, and it was kind of their equivalent of like their Person of the Year award, is in short what it would kind of be, and it was very impressive, right? The other people that were also like, I don't know that they were in consideration for whoever they kind of went through, but previously in the night, Allie Beth Allman, she didn't win an award, right? And I was like, whoa, I don't know how she doesn't win. And then they also had Rogers Healy won an award. So there's like all these people that they could totally pick from, right? And then,
No, it was
then you have to
an
receive
honor.
it. Yeah,
And
no, it was
I'm very
super,
grateful.
super impressive. So I added the math up and I was like, whoa, it kind of dawned on me, you know, after we looked at this, and I was talking to my sister Amy about it, and I'm like, holy cow. So she wins this award now, and she was elected the president of the association of the, I don't know, at the time there was 9,000 some people that were there, and I think now you're up to close to 10,000 members, right? So you were elected the president last year in the future, right? So today you're dressed up because you officially become the vice president today. And, you know, then the year before that, you won Women's Council of Realtors Woman of the Year, which I think is sexist. I think it should just be, you know, Person of the Year there as well.
There's men in the club.
Yeah. So anyways, to win 3 big things like back to back to back is super impressive, all from different organizations representing like all the local agents, right? And
So
for that to be your leader is really impressive.
Well, thank you. I just am me. What you see is what you get, and you know, sometimes people like it, some people don't. But you just be true to yourself and do your thing, which each and every one of you care, and express that every single day, and rewards are
Yeah.
returned.
So I had a couple more pictures. We have this link. We'll put it in the description and in the chat below so you can kind of see.
We really had a good time.
We really had a good time. I don't know why people squat down in pictures
Me,
like this.
I don't either. I
But
don't know.
you
I
guys
always
did a
do that.
great job of squatting.
So we'll have a link for you guys, so you can maybe put your photos in there. So we have them all together. It would be great. But yeah, it was a great night.
All right.
Okay. Thank
Sounds
you
good to me.
guys.
Hit the bell. When does capital gains tax come into play in a real estate transaction in Texas if you make a profit?
This would be a really good question to ask our agents. You know how we did that poll before? Because every time at closing, this is the consistent thing that you hear all the time when the seller has to, you know, they ask the sellers or sellers questions about the property that they're selling. So
we're going to quickly discuss what this is all about, because if you made money on your property, right, and it appreciated, went up in value, then you could potentially have a capital gains issue. So there's a couple of key questions. We have a link, and we're going to go ahead and open up this article.
Okay.
And just so I have the exact words in here, and here we go. So I'm going to take control of this and pull it over, and it has to do with how long you've owned the property.
Yep.
Okay.
your primary residence.
Yes. So if this is your primary residence, right, and you must have been the owner of the home for at least 2 years. So you have to own the property for 2 years. And in addition to that, you have to answer another question. Over the last 5 years, has this been your primary residence for at least 2 of the years? Well, if you've owned the home for 2 years, they're kind of asking the question of, did you move from another house and then not have this as your primary residence? So you had to live there and have this as your primary residence for at least 2 years. And you can't have claimed this exemption within the previous 2 years on another property. Okay, so a bunch of criteria, but 2 years living there is pretty much the thing in your primary residence.
Right.
And if you have, then this is not an issue at all unless your number exceeds $250,000 per person if you file singly, or if you file jointly, right, with another person, then it's $500,000. So if you've lived there 2 years and then this amount, your gain does not exceed that amount, then it's a non-issue.
Yeah.
And that's how it's been standard around here for a long time, because it hasn't exceeded that.
Right.
And people were staying in their homes a little longer, but now people are churning and moving their homes.
It used to be
quicker.
the average 5 to 7. Now it's like, I don't know, some people are moving within a year. So it's crazy.
So what happens is we have to figure out what is your cost basis on your home. So what your cost basis is how much you paid, like the original price. Not how much you financed, but like the total purchase price, plus the cost of any additional improvements that you made or enhancements to the property added to the base price. So now you know, I always like to kind of break it down to simple numbers. So if you paid $100,000 for your home, which might not be the case, but you'd multiply it out times however many hundreds of thousands.
Yeah.
And then whatever improvements. So if you put in $20,000 worth of improvements, now your cost basis would be $120,000. Irrelevant of how much you owe on the home right now, how much your initial mortgage was, none of those things would matter. It's your cost basis. Then how much you sell it for. So in this scenario, if you sold your home for $200,000, you would have a gain, right, of $80,000 minus any expenses, transactional expenses that you had along the way to also get there. So it'd be the cost for all of the stuff at closing to sell it that you'd add in there as well, plus what it was to buy it when you had there. So now you have additional numbers to bridge this gap to now maybe bring it down to $60,000.
Yeah.
So in this scenario, that number does not exceed $250,000 for one person or $500,000 for two people. But then the second rule is, have you lived there for 2 years or more and had that as your primary residence for that time frame? Okay?
Yes.
So in answering that question, that's the next thing for you to know your time frame on how long you've been there. Now, this is extraordinary income, not ordinary income, which is taxed differently than your ordinary income. Ordinary income is taxed based on how much you make, right?
Correct.
And it's basically more or less probably taxed at a higher rate. Extraordinary income is something that you do every once in a while to make money, and you could have a stock appreciation or something along those lines, and then you'd have to pay tax on it.
Yeah.
Now, the tax limit is limited to 20%, no matter what it is, but in most scenarios, it's going to be 15% on long-term capital gains, anything that exceeds, I believe, holding it for 1 year time frame. Okay, so if you've held your home now for less than 1 year, then you're going to be subject to short-term capital gains. Long-term capital gains would be anything over 1 year, which I believe here, and you can revert back to the article, is going to be 15%. And the short term is the 20% on this, because it's extraordinary and it's your home and whatever that is. Then if you've lived in there for more than 2 years, then that number would go back to probably zero, as long as you don't exceed 250 or 500 total.
Correct. So that's a lot of information. That was great information. But what you guys need to know is, you know, if you're dealing with a seller that has, you know, you notice, wow, they just bought this house in July, then this is something you need to be aware of and really ask them about. Because, you know, I would think that most people would have thought of that, but, you know, you just want to make sure you have that discussion. There's also some ways to avoid paying the taxes, but, you know, you're most likely going to have to pay them regardless. If they always ask you, in the last 5 years, have you? So I think there's two things. One, there's a rule, a 6-year rule, that you can move out of your home and rent it out. So you move out and you rent out the former home. And then before the 6-year time, then you can avoid capital gains that way if you're renting that entire time. Now, these are things that, you know,
but that's only if it exceeded 500,000.
Only if it exceeded.
For 2 or 250.
You know, another thing that I was wondering and that I looked up is, okay, if you're over a certain age, right, do you still have to pay capital gains? Yes. There's no age restriction or limitation or anything. It's, you know, if you're 85 years old and you have capital gains, then yes, you pay tax. So
Martha asked a question of, when does the time frame officially start? And it would be when you acquired the property, right? So when you officially close. So in certain scenarios, if you are taking out a combined loan for the land and for the structure upon it, then that would be a different time frame. Most people happen to purchase maybe a home that's previously lived in, so you know it's already built, and they would take possession that day. But if there's something different with like a lease back or anything like that, it goes to the closing date, and not when you not when you moved in. And in this scenario, I believe the answer, Martha, would be that if you were building the home, but you had the loan the whole time and you had all the stuff in your name, and it was a true where the loan was all in your name and you actually owned all of it, not the builder owned it or the builder owned the land, it would be where it was titled would be the answer to that question, to dig back a little bit deeper.
Interesting.
Yep. So the question on that, a good example to give everyone a scenario there would be the property that we have up at the McKinney Lake, because we've owned it now for about a year.
Yeah.
And have not made substantial improvements to it. But when we eventually build a home, if we were to sell it, the time frame would go back to when we initially purchased the property, not when we started to build on it, because we've owned the property the whole time. Okay? Right. And if we titled it now in something different, then we could potentially have a restart time frame on when that would be. Yeah. So there'd be some super detailed questions in there, but if that applies, contact me directly. But that's getting super into
Or your
weeds.
accountant.
Yes. We'll work through it.
Yeah.
Logan, great question.
Great job, Logan. That's really a good thing to bring up, especially now in the market that we're in. So way to go. All right. Close it out.
Well, that's a wrap.
That's a wrap. Wrapping up the whole week right now.
But you'll go to Show Me Your Listings
Yep.
next.
Show me your listings. I get to see all of your faces. I'm excited.
That's amazing. Again, congratulations on
Zoom
this.
meeting with
Congratulations.
Shana.
Thank you guys for going. Like, it's a lot of fun.
Yes, you guys. We don't get dressed up often, you know, and this was fun. It was fun. You know, it is fun to get dressed up and go to this event and, you know, spend time together outside of work, just let loose and have a great time. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. So thank you guys for coming. We did get home with random photos. I don't know where these came from, but these are all like
Yeah, I have no idea.
owners of Monument Realty I see in here, like all
Yeah,
kinds of
I know.
different people. I have no idea how that happened, but
And for everyone
I know
out there-
I was picking them up, but I didn't even see those guys there. So I don't know.
Well, here's just a quick tip. And so what this is if you happen to own a real estate brokerage and say that you are the licensed broker, just saying. Anyways,
Anyway, have a great weekend. We'll see you guys on Monday. Actually, we're going to see you in like 2 seconds.
okay, you ready?
Yeah.
All right. Topic 1, Real Producers Award. Now,
Nice job.
You're supposed to do this.
Hang
one
on.
without the
I'd
I
say it
don't know
makes
why
it
they were
blurry.
saying to do that, though.
It makes your word bigger. It's like when Megan happens to get an animal, right? You put it out in front of you and you hold it out, and then it appears larger because it's a scale and scope thing.
Thank you, Omkar.
when. Alright. We have
Shana,
with the other
one more
topic,
picture.
capital gains. Yeah. And now.
Okay.
Got it.
All right. Show me your listings is starting right now. Zoom meeting with Shana.
It's a great, great day. It's a good day. Get up. Na 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 na. Can't you see the sun shining? Na 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 na. I woke up and I rolled out of bed. Got dressed and I left at 10. Check my nails, looking good. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Oh yeah. I know this'll be the day. Everything will be okay. I kiss my cares all away. It's gonna be a good, good day. cry myself to sleep and thinking better days are a far off dream. Get up and I move my feet 'cause I hear music playing on these streets. Oh yeah, ain't nobody